Alright guys, back with another fix-it video. So recently we put my boat in to go camping for my son's birthday, and my power tilt and trim motor, which is located here, quit working. Not sure what happened with it. We put it in the water, left it overnight. The next day we tried to go fish, and the motor, we trimmed it up and then it wouldn't do anything. So I came home. We ended up trolling back to the boat ramp with the trolling motor. Was able to load it on the trailer, and then we got it back home and I was able to test it. Question is, how do you test your power tilt and trim motor? Well, one thing that you can do, you take your boat cowling off. You got to find your relay where it goes to. Power tilt and trim relay is right there underneath the cowling of the motor, and underneath there. Yep, that spot and this spot. And always the blue goes to the sky and the green goes to the ground. And you ask yourself, well, how do you get it to trim? Like, how does it work? How can you test it? Well, one way you can do is you could swap the polarities, put the blue here and the green up top, and then try and hit your button and see if that makes the motor go the other way. That would mean that one side is messed up inside your relay. Well, the other way is take this, hook it to your battery, positive and negative. Either way, if you put the blue on positive, your motor will trim up if your motor isn't bad. If your motor is bad, it won't work. Then you can do it the other way around, where you would put your green on positive and your blue on negative, and that should trim the motor down. So we're going to do that test real quick, just to test what is working. Or to see if it works. So here's a battery. Yep, this is one of my trolling motor batteries. We're just going to touch these two. Blue, we want the motor to go up, so let's put the blue on positive, and we're going to put the green on negative. Nothing is happening. So you can go ahead and switch that the other way.
It won't reach.
Yep, it won't reach.
No.
Hold on one second, guys. Slide this a little bit. There we go. So same thing. We're going to try to put it on there. There's nothing happening. So that would tell me that my power tilt and trim motor is bad, and it's probably not my relay. So we're gonna pull the power tilt and trim. Try and do that all live. We don't need the battery anymore. All you do is you remove these two cables up here. Take both of those off. And then if you look in here, it just goes, this cable goes all the way through.
Around to the motor.
It comes all the way through, out the bottom side of the cowling here. Yours is probably zip tied. So you'll pop your zip ties, and it's going to be this one. You'll just pull this through, and we're going to remove the entire thing. Just try not to, or make sure you don't pull anything else out as you're pulling this through. There's yeah, pull that. Can you pull that tape? Reach your hand back around the other side. So they have these extra plastic layers on here. Let's try and get this back this way. They have these extra sheaths on here to help protect the line from getting too hot and melting. There you go. So we're just going to pull that through, and you don't want to pull any of your other wires out. It just goes, there you go, pull that. So there's that other extra protection that I was talking about. So there it is. You pull that out, you're going to pop your zip ties, and then you can use a screwdriver to remove 4 of these on each side. And then you will have some fluid drain out, some hydraulic fluid. Catch tray to catch any of that hydraulic fluid underneath. And then you're going to need an extender. You don't need a huge wrench, it's not too tight. We're just going to use a small socket wrench, and the size, so 3/8 fits it tight. And we're just going to break these free. Again, there's 4 of them, 2 up front, 2 in the back. And real quick, want to make sure we're tracking that your wiring is all on the side of your motor mount, so that it goes straight up and out the hole that's over there. You can kind of see there is the other screw here, and there's one on the other side to make your 4 screws or bolts. And then on the 4th one, let me see, you're going to need a longer extension. So on the 4th one, you're going to use the longer extension, because more than likely you won't be able to get to it. Yeah. And it's right back in. It is right there. So, did it break loose? Let me see. Okay, so now I'm going to, you can see the fluid dripping and leaking. That's why you want a catch tray for the hydraulic fluid. Hold this. I'm going to pop the socket off and just kind of use that extension as a screwdriver to pull that one off the back off, because it's back there. It's already popped loose, and it should just twist out. And really, I'm just going to let it come all the way out and try to leave it in place. Do the same thing for all 4 of them. When I pick this whole motor up, hopefully they all stay in place. And I'll just pull the whole motor with the 4 bolts in it out. Something else of note, there's a gasket in here. You need to make sure on your new one.
That's a lot of fluid.
Yeah, your gasket's in place. But really, this is a simple fix. I'm not going to tell you to get a generic motor, but the one that I have on here is currently a generic made by Caltric. Not calling them out or saying that they're bad. I'm going to put another Caltric on here. The warranty, I replaced this a few months back, and it actually quit working. And their customer service was money in the bank. They hooked me right back up, got me a new one on the road. So we're going to try to install it today. But that should be it for pulling it off. It should come right out of there. So literally, you should be able to just raise it up. Again, you will have that hydraulic fluid pour out. And there it is. That's what it looks like inside. And what happens is that little silver thing will spin left or spin right. And that's how it forces the hydraulic fluid to continue moving the motor up and down. Go ahead and pull that all the way through. Just pull that out. There's your motor. We don't want to lose our screws. All right, now if you look here, you'll see that there is a gasket. We're going to leave it in place for right this second. Make sure the other one come with a gasket. If not, then we'll reuse that one. Prefer not to reuse a gasket, but set you back up here while I get the other one out. And look at it. And here's the other one. Everything in the package.
That comes in the cords and everything.
There's the new one. 2 wired. Again, you don't need anything that has more than 2 wires. Comes with a gasket and a new piece for the inside. We're going to retest this one that I just took off as well, but here's your gasket. You're just going to place that gasket. You're going to place that gasket around the rim. We're going to put a little bit of hydraulic fluid on it just to make sure that it kind of sits in place as we lower this down. Try to take a little hydraulic fluid and put on it so that it stays on the motor and makes that, or on this motor and makes the seal. So just like that. Now again, you want these facing the side that your hole or exit hole for is going to come through. We're going to pop the zip tie. Now I'm going to, for ease of placing this in here, I'm going to put the back corner bolts in because it makes it a little easier to get to without. I'm also going to get down here. Let's see. I'm going to try to turn this so that it fits in that groove well, and hope that it seats perfectly on there, and it looks like
pretty good.
That should seat well. Whoa, 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 easy. Make sure that gasket's still good to go, which it is. Gonna go ahead and hold on. Yeah, go ahead and put that one in there. Just try to get this one started. That way that'll hold it in place. Hold on. Find my socket, which I don't see.
There's that, and then there's that.
Here we go. Try to get this back corner first. Again, it's all the way in the back here. Try to get it. You don't want to cross thread them. So that one I got tight down. This one I got almost. All the way down. And then we'll do cross thread or crossed. There we go.
And then you put more fluid back in there?
And then we'll have to add more fluid. Yep. That was a good question. Do you add more fluid? Yeah, sometimes you do lose just enough fluid that it needs to be purged. But I'm going to go back to this corner bolt and try to tighten it down now. And before I run all my wires, I'm actually going to just see if I can get this motor to trim to make sure that this motor is actually good to go.
And then we have to bring the battery back over here?
Yeah, the battery's not far. Now, if your motor is under warranty, I would take it to Yamaha. Don't try and do this deal yourself, because you break something or it doesn't work properly, you don't want to void your warranty. This is only if your warranty is
still valid,
is not good. And you know, it cost, I was gone on a vacation and I had a quote for this, and it was over $900 to get a new motor and then to install it. Well, I'm just going to tell you that this motor was about 70 or 80 bucks. I had it overnighted or shipped fast. but it was like $90 versus $900. So if you want to pay 10 times and your boat's not under warranty and or you're just not mechanically inclined, I'm not telling you not to do that. But we're going to get the battery over here, and we're going to try and hook these up. Again, if you want your motor to trim up, you want the positive to be on the blue side. So that's what we're going to do. I'll let you do the blue. And you want the green to be on the negative side. There you go. So we know that motor works.
And switch.
And then if you want it to go down, all right, do it again. All right, so that it's not moving, so I'm thinking that there's not enough fluid in there. So we're going to try to drain it and put some new fluid in it. You can move that. Before we hook it all up to make sure that it really does work, right here is your fuel reservoir, a fluid reservoir, hydraulic reservoir. You're going to pop this off. And then you got to put fluid in it with some type of bottle. They say you can use a soap squirt bottle as long as you've cleaned it, obviously. But let me get some hydraulic fluid and we'll continue. So, hydraulic fluid. I do recommend using the Yamaha power tilt and trim fluid. That being said, there's a pump. Actually, we don't even want that on the boat seat. So there's a pump that you would put in. You would put that in your bottle. This needs to be screwed into your trim reservoir. So we're going to unscrew this. I'm going to attempt to undo this. And I heard it have a little bit of air built up in the back of it. So we're going to screw this in. This is a pump that you can get from Walmart. It's not expensive. Should have brought that all the way up, but I don't know if I can screw this in with that in place. Yep. Alright, so bear with us. My motor toter isn't good, so we're going to manually trim this up the rest of the way. Hopefully we can get it to go up all the way. That way, yeah, you see it's low on fluid, so it doesn't want to go up. Alright, see if that'll come all the way out. Not quite. Alright, hold it. Okay, go up. Pull the motor up. Go to the back and pull it if you can. Yep. There you go. Alright, good. So we pulled that out because I couldn't get the hydraulic pump to screw in.
Pull that out.
We're going to screw this in here.
So it's just like a shampoo bottle with a cord or something?
Yep, it's a shampoo pump pretty much. And you're going to fill this full. This is a messy process, so just be aware of that. There's a tube to get to the bottom of. If you got gloves, this is probably not a bad time to have gloves. Oh, you don't want to do that either.
Gonna have to rinse it off.
Alright, let's try this again.
Back in business.
Alright, so this just goes in there so that you can get to the bottom of your bottle. And you're literally just going to
assuming it's full.
It's kicking some air out, so we're going to just try to pump it until that we think it's full. The other pieces is when you pop this off, you're going to get some pressure, some back pressure, so you want to make sure you don't splash yourself. You want to cover it with a rag or something like that.
How many times do you think you can use that bottle until it's empty? Or to refill it?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't use a whole lot, but I think it's full right now, so I'm going to get something. And then what you want to do is cycle your motor up and down a couple times. I don't know that you could do it with that on there. I am going to do it once with that completely connected. I'm going to cycle it up and down. We're going to switch polarities, and we're going to go down. That's fine. We're going to go back up. That's the way your motor should trim. But we're going to end up pulling that off. We're going to put our lid back on. We're going to run the motor up and down a couple times. And like I said, this is going to cause some type of spray. So I'm going to cover this so it just doesn't spray everything. And I'm going to unscrew this. There it went, just like I figured, and you can see the white. That means that there's still air in the line, so we're just gonna close that up.
And trim it up and down a little bit.
And we're gonna trim it up and down a couple times. But we're gonna cut the video here for a second. All right, guys, so we removed first off, I went and got some gloves, some PPE. We removed our injector port from our reservoir. We put our lid back on it. We did run it up and down just once or twice, but I'm going to run it up and down, up and down, up and down a handful of times just to get the air out. And this here's how you would bleed your system. That's one of the biggest concerns after you mess with some of the fuel or fluid, is it bleeding. So I'm going to bring the battery up here. We're going to run it up and down a couple times, and then from there we're going to add some more fluid, and that's the plan. So we're going to go all the way down. Now I might not need to bleed it again. Okay. Here, you just hold. There you go. So we're going to go up now. We'll go back down. We're going to do this about 5 total times. It shouldn't be making noises like that. And that's probably because it needs a little more air, or I'm sorry, a little more fluid. Go all the way back up. And we'll go all the way back down. And then all the way back up one more time.
Goes way down.
Yep. Alright, last time we're going up, and then we're going to check our hydraulic reservoir. And then let the motor cool off for a minute, because we don't want to burn out our brand new motor. Go ahead and get our fill reservoir back in place, which I just kind of sit in the back here until I am ready to use it. Again, just like I said earlier, you're going to have some back pressure, so I'm going to use this again. When I go to twist this, you'll have some back pressure that'll happen. We don't want to spray us, but you should see bubbles. White bubbles means that there was some air in it, and the goal is to get the white bubbles all the way out. And there it is. You see the bubbles? Oh, there's a whole bunch of bubbles. Okay. So now we'll refeed this back in there. Add a little bit more fluid. Run the pump a couple more times. To make sure that it is full and bled out properly. Set this down. Actually, really doesn't matter. So I think we got some in there. We'll now try to, again, relieve that pressure. And we know it's going to be a mess, so I'm going to have my cap standing by because I don't want to lose too much fluid if I can. If you can keep fluid off your hands, I'd prefer that. There it went. Put our cap back on. Yes, it's a messy job. And now that I got it all over my hands, we're just going to remove this. I'm hoping that that's the last time. My hands are clean. Going to try to do this motor up and down again a couple times. See what it sounds like. And then we should be good to go. So we're going to go down. So down means green or grass to the positive, blue. Well, that didn't want to go down, did it?
That didn't work very well.
Go back up. Down. And then we'll go back up for good measure. I'll try to bleed it again. See if I can get a few more bubbles out without actually expelling all the fluid this time. I did bring one more glove
Just one.
because I knew that was going to be a mess. So here we go. Just again, I'm not going to try to undo the whole thing. I just want to see if I can get some of those white bubbles out. There they go. We don't want to drain all the fluid, just some white bubbles. Okay. And then I'll run it up and down one more time to see what it sounds like. Hopefully I don't need another glove because that was the last one I brought with me. So down, green to positive, blue to negative. Go back back up. Alright, I'd call that a successful motor swap. Now, what we want to do is feed this back through. So we've already got it here. So now that we've got the motor on, it has been filled with fluid in the reservoir. We've released all the pressure and got it pretty much bled and all the bubbles out of it, most of them. This is what I mean by you want this black thing. You want this sheath to be in between the wire and this metal to try to help combat any tearing of the wire through this metal of going up and down and just the tension. We've fed it back through into the cowling. We're going to now feed it through to the other side, and then we have a couple other heat shield guards. We're just going to add both of them to it once we get it back in place. So he's going to try to feed it through to me. Just like that, underneath. All right, I'm gonna pull it through. There it is. It should reach, so if you don't have enough, you're gonna have to make sure you get it. But again, blue goes to the top. Blue goes to the top, green goes to the bottom. We're gonna hook that up and make sure our buttons work, but first we're gonna add those extra heat shields to it just to kind of help maintain it. Okay. Another thing, you can do this with your battery turned off, which mine is turned off. So green on the bottom. I have my son Ethan helping me today. We're still in the middle of summer break. He goes back to school in a couple weeks, as well as all the other kids. Okay, that's good enough for now. Next. I'm going to put the blue up top. Again, this little plastic cover can come all the way off if you need it to come off. All right. This cap right here goes there. We'll put it on in just a second. I just kind of put it there as a keeper. We need to get the right wrench, which was what size? Do you remember? 10 millimeter it is. So that's a metric size up there. We're just going to tighten this down. Again, it doesn't have to be terribly tight, but just tighten those two down. I'm going to put this cap back on it right here. Just goes over top of this. Yours might be a little different. I'm going to run that up and this guard up, and then there is another hook or clip that clips these wires together just to hold them.
It's like a reusable zip tie.
Yep, reusable zip tie.
That's what it looks like because it has little notches and stuff on it.
What I want to do is make sure this cover is all the way there. There you go. So now this should work. I'm gonna go up and down. Let me get my boat. Got to remove a whole bunch of stuff, y'all, because we have our back of our box covered with all the tools and things we're working with. So bear with us. We're trying to move stuff out the way. Here, I'll take that. This should have been sat down on the ground first. Alright, so we're gonna turn our main power on over there. There it is. And now we should have, hopefully, trim and tilt. There it is, it's up. There it is, it's down, okay, that's good. Let's try this one. That works too, and then we have one more blinker trim. That works as well. I have one more, but the up is broken. I'm gonna try this one real quick. So up is still broken, but down still works. So looks like all of my switches still work, so we know it wasn't a problem with the switches. There is a way that you can do a test as well without using a battery and testing these. There's a way that you can just switch these two, like I said, and you can hit the down, and that would tell you if you probably got a problem with your relay. But if not, the easiest way to find out if your motor is bad is just to pull this off, put it on a battery, and just check it. If it is good to go, you'll know. If it's that problem, then you'll know as well. You should know pretty quickly that it's just your power tilt and trim motor. So that's us signing off. We're going to zip tie it into place in a couple places. We have 3 zip ties. We're going to zip tie it here, right there. We had 2 zip ties here. I'm only going to put one back because I don't like this. This sheathing is tearing on my hydraulic jack plate, so we're going to leave that one alone. And then I'm going to use one more, and I'm going to do it just on the inside here. We're going to zip tie it to that little cover right there, or that little loop, which it probably had something like this attached to it, but I don't know where that's at, and I'm not trying to mess with it. It actually, if this was long enough, would probably go through there and down that way. All right, that's good.
Good.
Yep.
Need to be a little tighter.
So hopefully
didn't mess up anything else.
Yep, that should be all she wrote. And now we'll put our cowling back on, and you can hear the clicks. We were having clicking, but we weren't getting any reaction to it, so that's why we pulled the wires and tested it on a battery, and it looks like we are good to go. So this is Razor Baits signing out, repairing hydraulic trim motor. Thanks for watching. See you next time.